Hi everyone. I think it's the 7th of October today. I could be wrong. Just out in the potting shed. I wanted to show you the germination success on the onion sets. I think not quite everyone has germinated yet, but probably about 85+% or so thereabouts. So I'm pleased with that. I'll show you when I get down there the remainder that I put out on the plot. Some of them have germinated as well, but I don't think anywhere near the kind of same percentage, but I'll show you that when we get down there. I'm going to film this over a number of days, so as I say, today is Wednesday. I was going to go down to the plot today, but had such bad weather the last 3 days that it's just not been possible, so I haven't managed to do that. I did do a bit at the weekend, which I did film, although something went wrong and for some reason none of the files that were recorded on the camera saved, so I'm hoping this saves okay, and then if it does, obviously I'll record a bit more down on the plot when I get down there. I've got broad beans in and garlics through and various other things to show you, so apologies for not having much coverage over the last couple of weeks, but hopefully we'll catch up in a couple of days or so and then get this up as quickly as I can. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye. Good morning. It's now Saturday the 10th of October and brought you down to the allotment so you could see the onion sets that have been put in down here, and I'll also give you a quick tour around so you can see what else is going on. What I ended up with was probably 2.5 rows of a mixture of yellow and red, basically what was left from what didn't go into the modules that are in the potting shed. As you can see, I hope, or maybe not, probably germination not quite as good, although I think some are further on than others, so there's a chance that some will come through anyway, but also not anywhere near as far on as the ones in the potting shed, obviously. The blue tape is something called humming line. Let me just switch the camera over here, and this is it. I don't know how much of that you can read, but basically it's a bird scarer, and it says it emits an ever-varying sound that birds won't go near. Now, I don't know whether that's true. I think certainly there is something to it, because other than one that I can definitely see that's been hoiked out, which is just over there, I don't know whether you can see, there's one here and one here, and then there's a hole there, which obviously is where there was a set, and something has hoiked it out, probably a bird. There's a bit of debate as to whether it's blackbirds or magpies that are particularly favourite, but basically I think what happens is they see something in the soil with a little green tip on it that they think is a bug or something like that, and they hoik it out to try and eat it, find out that it's a onion set which they don't particularly want, and then just discard it. Now that one over there, I can't see anything nearby that's been discarded, so possibly it wasn't a bird, it was something else, but the line is there, so long as it's taut, and this is a bit slack, so what I'm going to do is just tweak, if I can get it to turn, tweak this stick a bit and pop it back in the ground, and that should hum quite nicely. I have to say, it has to be a noise that I can't hear, so I don't know whether I hold the camera down there, there's not much wind, but I can't hear anything, so I don't know whether you can, but that's the other bit of the onion sets, so not quite half, but what was left in the packets, I think it was 2.5 kilos or 2/4 kilos, one of red and one of yellow, I can't remember which, but that's basically what that's going on there. Garlic, I'm really pleased with this. I'll take a step back here, you can probably see a little garlic patch there. It's basically 4 across, left to right, and 6 back to front. So what's that? 6, 18, 24, 32, 33, because I had an odd one, which is at the front there, in the middle there, and that's every clove that I planted has germinated, so I'm really pleased with that. That's probably best ever germination. I'm hoping they're not too close together. Normally I put them out in a line like I do the onion sets, but this year didn't have the room, so I've kind of put them in a block. We'll see what happens. I did try and film this last weekend, which would have been quite good had it something not gone wrong with the camera, because I actually fell over and you would have seen that. But I put, what we've got there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of 6 rows of broad beans, and then another 6 on the end of this bed here. Now they're variety called Aqua Dolce, and they will hopefully germinate before the winter sets in, and then I won't say lie dormant, but they won't obviously do much over the winter, but they will get a head start come the spring. Now previous years I haven't, or previous recent years I should say, I haven't done overwintering onion sets in the soil or broad beans. I did broad beans last year, and I think probably they went in a bit too early because they were quite leggy by the time the frosts kind of arrived, but I've lost them in previous years, so we'll see. I'm going to go back to doing them over winter and see what happens. I can always plant in between in the springtime. I've actually got a few beans left over from these kind of 2 patches that I've sown, so I'm hoping that it will have a mild winter and they'll do well, or a mild and dry winter I should say, because very often it's not the cold, it's the wet that gets them. We'll see. I'm giving it a chance and we will see what happens. Otherwise, I'll show you the, I can walk up here, just show you the this was the sweet corn bed, which I cleared the sweet corn last weekend. Again, did take some video but lost it unfortunately. We didn't have any major success here, but we had enough to make a really nice sweet corn and parsnip soup, which lasted a couple of days. And most of the cobs hadn't germinated or germinated all the way to the end of the cob, so they were kind of sort of 3/4 to a half weren't fertilised, I should say, not germinated. But what we did have was very good, and we had enough of them that we could make a really good soup out of them, and I was really pleased with that, and that lasted us for a couple of days. I'm going to crack on and clear this bed. There's still a few odd courgettes, little baby courgettes. There's one in there, as you can see, another one over there. I'm going to leave them to see whether they'd come to anything. Sunflowers I'm going to take the heads off for the birds, particularly those 2, and then we'll see what happens. I'm contemplating, and I haven't decided yet, moving the compost bins to here and then bringing that area into cultivation. I don't know, it's an idea at the moment and I haven't gone much further with it beyond being an idea, because as you can see, I mean, this is fairly full of stuff now, and there was a big delivery of rotted horse manure and wood chips last weekend, which I think is probably why I didn't manage to get my video done, because I think I was too busy trying to do that that's when it all went pear-shaped. And this one, although this will be used over this winter and into the spring, but this is fairly full as well, though it's gone down a bit, so it's rotted down quite well, I hope. I've got some plans for the frame here. I've got some material, it's called EnviroMesh, and it's kind of between fleece and netting, so it's probably slightly finer holes than the netting on the brassicas here, but my plan is to strip off the plastic off of there, because it's just not going to do anything with that. I did think about leaving it on and covering over the top, but I just don't think that's going to work, so I'm going to strip that off and then recover it with the EnviroMesh and reutilise it in the springtime. So I'm not planning to waste the frame, but obviously the plastics had it, so we have to do something about that. So I think that's probably about all I've got to say. Just going to have a look at the sprouts, because obviously it's getting close to Christmas, so we might have some sprouts soon. Been eating the leeks and the parsnips fairly readily. No, don't know. Again, if I just flip the camera over, there's some on there, as you can probably see, but they're not very big. They're kind of pea size at the moment, so I'm not sure that they're going to do anything. I'm disappointed with those. The tops look alright, so we can probably eat them, make something out of them, and the purple sprouting next to them is doing well, but obviously that'll be a springtime treat. And then we've got rainbow chard, which will go through the winter. Spinach sometimes does, depends on how hard the frost is. Leeks and what's left of the Cavolo Nero, so all good winter veg. My plan today, depending on how I get on, is to do the cloche, but also try and start digging this bit. There's still a few beetroot there. It's probably one more harvest. I did some yesterday, so a few more probably later on this week, but I'll probably try and dig half of the remainder of that bed this morning, and as I say, try and do the cloche as well. Those are my aims for today. We'll see how we get on. When it gets this time of year, I don't tend to push it too hard, because there's plenty of time over the winter to do stuff, weather permitting, and I've still got beans and things to clear as well before I can dig that area. I have done my layout for next year, which if I can, I'll try and slot onto the end of this, or I'll do it in a separate video. But basically, potatoes will be in the far bed. I'm going to kind of swing the brassicas round so that they kind of form 90 degrees this way, and then this bed, once other than the broad beans, will be kind of lettuce, beetroot and things like that, in rows across, and then we've got courgettes and things going in up there next year, and cucumbers and peppers I'm going to try and grow outdoors over there. We'll see. That's the broad plan at the moment. Obviously it tends to vary a little bit as things get going, if plants arrive before I'm ready for them, or so on, so they need to go in somewhere else, but I'm pretty confident that what I've drawn out works. And obviously, certainly in terms of the garlic, the onion sets, the broad beans, they're already in, and that's already set for next year anyway now, certainly into the spring anyway. So yeah, that's where we are. Hope you're having a good weekend wherever you are. I'll try and get this up a bit later, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care now. Bye bye.